So the question I have is this from Ryan is that he says he's nomadic and he's interested in real estate investing. So his question is that if you're going to be moving around and he doesn't know where he's going to live right now, and he may not end up moving to his permanent address for maybe even 10 years, should he start investing now, and where should he start investing? Should he invest in his own backyard, or should he invest somewhere else? And that kind of is a two-part question that reminds me of an old joke. And the old joke was this guy heard that most car accidents occur within 10 miles of where you live, so he moved to another address that was at least 20 miles away. And that's how most people seem to view investing in real estate. They do the inverse of that. They think that because they understand an area that they should invest in that area, and I'll certainly talk about that a little bit more in the post that's coming up that will accompany this video very shortly on 7million7years.com. But for today I want to answer the second part of Ryan's question. The second part of his question is simply this. My concern is that if I have enough income capital to own property, would I be better off waiting 10 years until we decide where we're going to live long term, or might I be better off when we decide to move somewhere in buying a house, then when we move trying to keep it as a rental or something along those lines? Ryan, I'm going to assume that for the next 10 years you don't really necessarily want to buy a house for yourself to live in because you're not sure where you're going to live, or if you do buy something, it's mainly as an investment, and if you do live in it for a while, you'll end up renting it out anyway. So let's just treat it as a rental for now. What I think is this. Inflation is proceeding at a roughly 4% per annum, and in the last 20 or 50 years it's averaged 3.43 or 3.23%, something like that. But we all know that the inflation is on the rise and not on the decline. So let's assume that inflation is going to average 4% for just the next 10 years. If inflation averages 4% for the next 10 years and you've got your money sitting in, and you've got the money ready to buy a house right now and it sits in the bank, well, we know it's going to be earning 4%, so we know you're going to be net nil. You're going to just earn enough on that money to cover inflation. In fact, if you weren't earning any interest on that money, after 10 years at 4% inflation, you would effectively lose 50% of your investment. So that's roughly what the effect of inflation would be. You would lose half of your investment after 20 years, and you would lose 25% after just 10 years. So let's look at this the other way around. So you certainly wouldn't want to lose money by having it sit in the bank, not earning you any interest. And I don't think there's much value in having money in the bank just barely keeping pace with inflation. I think that's a loser's game. Let's look at the other way around. If you invested that, whatever money you had to buy a house with, and just put into the stock market, into index funds. And we know that index funds can average 12% plus over 20 or 30 years. But let's say you have a reasonably rotten 10 years and it only grows by 8%. So 8% growth is the same as 4% after inflation, because inflation is 4%. So what we're saying is effectively you're earning 25% on your money by allowing it to grow 4% per year. So isn't that a hell of a lot better than letting it sit in the bank and earning nothing on your money? And we all know that real estate, well, I hope you know by now that real estate can grow even more than 8% per annum. If you invest in real estate that's only growing at the national average of 6.23% per annum, and I would imagine that there'd be nobody who invests in real estate of any knowledge whatsoever who get less than the national average. I would hope you get more than the national average, simply not by not buying in the middle of the desert where there can't possibly be any capital appreciation. You automatically will get more than average over 10 years of 6.23%. Just simply by leveraging that money, you should earn again more than 4% after inflation on that money again. So you should earn more than 25% of your money. So the bottom line is, if you're planning on investing, start now, start soon, and put all those what ifs I do this and what ifs I do that aside. Deal with those issues when they come up.